adventure and experiences of the moon may not be just for astronauts and billionaires. Composer Amanda Lee Falkenberg has created a new work that brings together art and science in a particularly unique way. Her work, the Moons Symphony, has 7 movements, and each one dramatises past, present and future moon explorations. Monocle's Robert Bound sat down with the composer to find out more.
Amanda, thank you very much for popping in to see us in the middle of a fairly busy time for you. So you're over from Dubai. Now, people will detect an Australian accent, but you live in Dubai, you're a phenomenal composer, and you're over in London to be witness to the recording of this phenomenal symphony, 7-movement symphony called the Moons. Part of it, or all of it, a movement of it, is being recorded tomorrow here in London. Fill in the blanks of that slightly strange introduction.
Yes. So actually it's going to take 2 days over the weekend for the London Symphony Orchestra to record and timestamp, if you like, I like that word, with Marin Alsop conducting all 7 movements. And then on Monday we have a Planetary Live event happening at Imperial College that will basically be a reflection on that weekend. Matt Kaplan's coming over from the Planetary Society, which was founded by Carl Sagan many moons ago.
Yes. She's got the moon pun in straight away. Okay.
And so that's happening from 6 to 8 at the Huxley Building, the Claw Theatre. So, yeah, and then there'll be a panel of scientists and astronaut. Nicole Stott's going to be there as well. And all these scientists would have been there at St. Luke's watching this historic event, which is the recording of the Moon Symphony on the weekend.
So it's an amazing thing. I mean, you compose this music largely at home, I think, in Dubai. You're now seeing it being brought to life by the London Symphony Orchestra, world-class choir as well. So you've got St. Luke's and Abbey Road are the 2 places you're recording those 2 sort of separate elements to it, with all the scientists and an astronaut looking on who've kind of fed you some information. You've obviously done all this research. That's the stuff that's gone into this symphony. I mean, this hasn't happened yet, but I mean, what do you sort of look forward to the most out of that? And how do you kind of feel that you're going to you're in the middle of something, or you can just sit back and relax and enjoy it? I mean, I don't know. There's got to be some nerves in there, but also this is kind of like it's a kind of coming out parade, and it's the recording of this amazing symphony. How do you feel about it today?
Birthday party, I feel. It's a little bit of a birthday party. Yeah. I'm questioning myself that all the time. I'm sort of walking around and pinching myself, and then, sometimes I'm tear up going, is this really happening, post-COVID and all this kind of stuff, which was postponed 2 years ago. This is when it was meant to happen. And I think for me, just to hear live, breathing, living musicians performing your work, because everything's been computer generated up until now, I think I'm just, how much more can you take in? Like, I'm just going to, my cup overflows sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think...
There is a bar at Abbey Road. It's fine. You'll be all right.
And I think, obviously, largely and mostly that, but then to turn around and see who'll be sitting right next to me, which will be the scientists, and just, collaboration of the highest degree, that it takes, it's not just an ensemble. These are individual players on top of their game, 80, 90, 90 musicians that we have, all coming together. And then, of course, the brilliance of the teams of talent that NASA have to, engineers to get these space missions out there. So do you see what I mean? It's just these layers of inspiration again, and this collaborative spirit that is just so... That takes my breath away, because that's what really we are here on planet Earth, is to be united and whole and doing great things together.
All in the same room.
All in the same room.
Which is kind of nice as well. But it is an amazing thing to gather all these forces around you. I mean, sometimes you should just go out on a rainy night when the bus stops just for you and there's no one else there. You go, this is amazing. Look at this thing. It's 10 tons of red metal. It's just stopped for me. You've got 100 odd of the world's best musicians at your beck and call this weekend. So it's a wonderful thing, and it's a true celebration of and a well-deserved celebration of this wonderful piece of music. But tell us about the Moons, because before we go, you've described yourself, I've seen this before, as a moon junkie. They seem pale and dusty places to the mere layman, like myself. So how come? Why your love affair with the moon?
Well, I think, like I said, moons, we've got a moon that's got, hundreds of exploding volcanoes on it. We have a moon that's got an ocean 2.5 times the size of planet Earth. We've got a moon that looks called Titan that looks very eerily like Earth-like sight, but it's methane and ethane that govern its hydrological cycle. We've got Enceladus, it's got geysers spewing water vapor tens of thousands of kilometers into the night sky that forms one of the E-rings. These are the stories of these moons. We've got Moon Miranda, which was visited once by Voyager 2, which has a giant ice cliff that is the tallest in the solar system.
This is so amazing. I wish we could go there.
Exactly. Well, we can.
Your music takes us there.
Exactly.
Okay, just didn't miss
Well
that
done.
opportunity. It's an open goal.
Monocle's Robert Bound in conversation with composer Amanda Lee Falkenberg.